That magazine late last week, they announced that the company is going to be shrinking the size of its newsroom, making some decent layoffs, right? It's going to impact about a fifth of the staff, 21% actually. We're reducing our size of our organization, they say, a move that will impact about 21% of our colleagues and touch every department. Business Insider CEO Barbara Pang said in an internal memo, "This will be a difficult day, and our first priority is to provide clarity and support to those colleagues whose roles are being eliminated." The announced staff cuts show a heavy focus on artificial intelligence-powered products to reshape their newsroom. This move has fueled talks that AI was going to make humans redundant and cause widespread unemployment. But what if the reality is that it's going to make work unnecessary and provide all the basic necessities for us to live comfortably without us having to actually work? Now, I don't believe that's going to be the case, but it's now being debated more and more. That's the thinking behind this idea that AI will be the catalyst for the introduction of this universal basic income we've talked about on this show before. That's UBI. I wanted the opinion of my next guest. He's a little younger, so he might have something different to bring to the table. We're going to bring him on to talk about it. That's going to be Mr. Luke Lloyd. He's the CEO and president of the Lloyd Financial Group. Luke, thanks for coming on. Interesting now that they're starting to admit that some of these AI things are going to start to impact the workforce. I didn't ever think that was not going to be the case, but I'm still not a fan of UBI.
Well, there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, AI is probably the most revolutionary technology that anyone's ever seen ever. I mean, the fact that you literally have a new intelligent, I know it's not a being, but who knows, one day you pack that intelligence into a robot, it technically is a being, but you have this intelligence now being created by humans that essentially is made to replace humans. So the sci-fi movies we watched growing up, it seems like it's actually a lot of this stuff seems to be coming true. I'm not saying it's going to become self-aware with Skynet and robots are going to take over the world. What I am saying is these robots, these AI is going to be able to free up a lot of time for people. And I always go back to this philosophy. What happens when people have more time, when they have more free time? Do they make good decisions or do they make bad decisions? Is work really that bad? I mean, look, I was 2.5 months waiting for the government to give me approval to get my business up and running. I didn't know what to do. I don't have any hobbies. I enjoy work. So that showed me right there a personal example for me that when I have free time, I don't know what to do and I'd rather go back to work. The retirement thing for me at being a young age is not necessarily a good thing. So my point is, with AI replacing jobs, if it does free up time, UBI is going to be part of the equation. You have to fund money somewhere. That's called something like a robot tax probably down the road. But when people have more free time, they usually make bad decisions, and that usually is not a good thing for the overall world.
Okay, well, yeah, I see your point. I would be hoping that they become more productive. I mean, you have more free time to do stuff. Maybe it's something that you like to do, but maybe it's not your work per se. But maybe, and a guy like in your case, you know, your free time is your work time. You might become more productive. That might be the case. That might be good for the economy. But you know, I read some pretty crazy stuff when I was in college a long time ago now, about jobs and what they were really meant for us. And there is a thin thought line out there that jobs are just what we all do to keep from killing each other. Because right. we put all that effort in to something else so we all can kind of get along, right? Because if we didn't do that, can you imagine? It would be absolute mayhem. And then the last thing I'd say is this. Universal basic income, there's something about it that I don't like because it just feels like that we're letting the government purchase our hopes and our dreams for a cheap discount. Like, UBI of $50,000 a year, right? So now you have no more hopes and dreams of making ever more than that much money or trying to buy a bigger house or get a nicer. It takes away all of your incentive to do better, right? So the thing about UBI is I don't like it because I would never want to settle for a number. I'd rather run the risk and bet on myself. But also, I understand this small, thin line of what a job is, and there's some people out there that believe it's something that just keeps us from killing each other. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, let's hit on the UBI thing there. Let's call it for what it really is. UBI is just communism. I mean, yes. It's literally saying that let's all go in, produce some sort of overall aggregate of resources, and let's all just share in that kind of pie of those resources. That's communism. So the fact that we're even bringing these conversations into the conversation so like lightheartedly, like it's not actually a big deal, and this could be something that might be on the horizon soon, really irks me as a free market capitalist betting on myself currently building the business. It really does irk me that the fact that this is even part of the conversation. Now, if you go forward with the AI causing UBI, but also causing more productivity, then you probably are going to hear more people echoing, let's do this thing because we have more resources because of the productivity boost. Now, what I will say is I'm not as confident as you, Scott, maybe about the productivity boost over the long term. I think initially I'm using AI every single day. I'm probably saving 40 hours a week because of AI, creating template forms for me, creating communications, newsletters. It's helping me out in almost every aspect I do. Now, the fact is, being now an entrepreneur, business owner myself, of course it's going to make me more productive because I'm wearing 15 or 20 different hats right now. If you're an employee working a job that has one job to do and you're not wearing 20 or 50 different hats, that AI is going to replace that kind of job. So my point is that, yeah, you're going to get a productivity boost. You're going to get a lot of wealth transferring to the top. So all this is going to do is essentially what the government did for the past 4.5 years, printing more money goes to the top. Same thing with productivity boosts. When a productivity boost happens and you get rid of workers, your net profitability goes up. Corporations make more money. Those that own stocks make more money. So this is an investor's dream. This is a CEO's dream, but it's also bad for the working population.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. I totally agree with you. And you know what? UBI never works anyway. If anybody looks at it throughout the history of the test cases, it just doesn't do well. All right, we got to jump on that. Great stuff as usual, Luke. Luke Lloyd, CEO of the Lloyd Financial Group.